What claims does Lincoln make in his second inaugural address, and how does he support those claims? In this lesson, you'll learn how to determine an author's claims by analyzing supporting evidence. Let's review. In the previous lesson, we looked at how Lincoln addressed conflicting viewpoints. Instead of taking a side, he took a neutral approach, pointing both sides to the root cause of the war, slavery. In this lesson, we will closely examine Lincoln's views in order to determine his claims and the evidence he uses to support his claims. First, let's look at the author's viewpoints. Then, ask yourself, what claims is the author making? Then, ask yourself, what evidence does the author use to support these claims? First, look at the author's viewpoints. From the previous lesson, we inferred that Lincoln wanted his audience to refocus on the root cause of the war, slavery. The third paragraph is where Lincoln's viewpoints about slavery are prevalent. We can look at the text that follows where the previous lesson left off to get more insight into his viewpoint regarding slavery and the war. Now that we see where the author's viewpoints are prevalent, ask yourself, what claims is the author making? We see that Lincoln uses the word offense or offenses 5 times in the last few sentences. We know that American slavery is the offense that has been committed. The word shows up the most in the last sentence, so let's focus there. Lincoln says that it is God's will that slavery be removed. God is sovereign, therefore both parties must answer to God, and that both North and South received the terrible war as punishment for the offense of slavery. He claims that both sides deserve God's punishment. These are 2 claims he's making. So next, we'll examine how these claims are supported. Ask yourself, what evidence does the author use to support these claims? You've probably noticed some quotes and other wording in this section that we can assume comes from the Bible. Both North and South are fellow countrymen who read the same Bible and pray to the same God. However, each invokes his aid against the other. The opposing prayers of both could not be answered. God is not on one side or the other. The Almighty has his own purposes. Lincoln uses evidence rooted in their common belief system to say that both must answer to God. Let's go ahead and list the evidence that Lincoln uses to support his claim that both must answer to God. First, both pray to the same God. Each invokes God's aid against the other. God can't answer opposing prayers. God has his own purposes. Now let's go back to the passage and find evidence for the claim that both sides deserve God's punishment. Previously, Lincoln stated that neither side fought to end slavery. The North wanted to restrict its reach and the South wanted to extend its reach. Here he quotes the Bible, "Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to the man by whom the offense cometh," and then says that we can suppose God gives both North and South this terrible war as the woe due to those by whom the offense came. Let's list some of the evidence below the claim that both sides deserve God's punishment. First, neither side fought to end slavery. The Bible quote, "Woe to the world because of offenses." He gives to both North and South this terrible war. As you can see, we're able to determine 2 of Lincoln's claims by finding evidence he uses to support his claims. Again, here are the steps you can take when determining an author's claims by analyzing supporting evidence. Look at the author's viewpoints. Ask yourself, what claims is the author making? Then ask yourself, What evidence does the author use to support these claims? In this lesson, you have learned how to determine an author's claims by analyzing supporting evidence.